Hey guys, welcome back to the shop for another week of SNS, and this week we're going to have a two-parter, okay? Two parts, and we're going to be getting back onto our shaper parts. We're going to be continuing on with them really. So what you're going to see me doing is we're going to be reconditioning and working on the clapper box, and the tool head itself. So I've been, since last weekend and all week, I've been kind of steady working at it each night. We've been having to work quite a bit of extra hours at work, so I get home and I have 1 or 2 hours out here. So I've been putting in a little bit of time trying to get it done, and I am trying to get it to the point where I can start putting this thing back together real soon. All right, so I'm ready to get it together and start making some actual cuts on the shaper. I've got a couple projects in mind. I got some more practice cuts I want to make because the last time, we did some heavy cuts, so we'll go back and I want to revisit the heavy cutting, and then I want to start practicing some fine cutting, fine finishing cuts, that kind of thing. So anyway, we're going to continue working on the shaper. Probably got a few more episodes of that to get everything back. I'll show video of putting it all back together there, and then we'll start getting back to our operations there. So I've also got a huge load of tooling that I just got in today, and I just finished filming that. Unboxing it. It's a bunch of tools that I had bought from my friend Jack Hoying up in Ohio, and that is going to be on part 2. Okay, so stick around for part 2. I'll probably put that on the end of the video there so that you guys can see what I got. Some really nice tooling from Jack, and he really hooked me up and added a couple little bonus tools in there for buying the stuff that I did. So be sure to check that out. I've also got some other stuff that I've been storing that I've decided to finally bring home, some heavy iron, and I talk a little bit about it, but we'll go into more detail with those items in another episode. I don't want to tie it all up in this one episode with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to our shaper work and come back for part 2 and see some more shaper work and some new tooling for the shop. Okay. Hey guys, so I'm gonna start working on some more pieces to the tool head here on the shaper. And I want to go ahead and start doing some cleaning up on the clapper box. I mean, this is the clapper and the clapper box, which bolts to the slide. This one right here is the spare that Tim had sent me. This is off the 24-inch. Now I've been doing a little bit of measuring on this so that I kind of know what I'm looking at there, and I'll do some more to give you some examples of what I'm trying to measure and see what's going on. But I will tell you that both of them seem to be equal, fairly equal, with how much clearance is actually inside this right here, the inside the clapper box. This clearance here. This one has got, it's already stuck. There's some dings on that one right there. The problem with this one off the 24-inch, it's got more dings and stuff on it from hammer marks and things like that, people beating on it. So it's fit wise, it's about equal condition, but it's got more damage on it, more noticeable damage like that right there, So I'm not going to worry about using this or trying to swap parts or anything. I want to try to keep as much original parts on my machine as I can, but I wanted this stuff here in case I did need anything or I could use them, or if they were in better condition than mine. But now that I've been inspecting this stuff, I'm realizing that 24-inch seemed to live a little bit harder life than mine did, and that might have been because it was in a school for a long period of time, because Tim said that it had belonged to the county school board and whenever it was dumped there, so it'd been quite abused. So I want to start cleaning this up, and I'm going to show you. So I've done a little bit of stoning right here. I got one of my flat stones. Actually, this is the one that Richard King gave me when I was in the scraping class, and I just been lightly stoning it just to try to make a nice flat plane there and remove any burrs that are sticking up. So maybe you're seeing a little bit of the reflection there. And I will tell you that this part right here was originally scraped from the factory, and I believe that was I think all shaper manufacturers hand scraped fit these to the clapper box right here so they have a precision fit. You can see some of the original scrape marks right here, and this area right here is about all that's left that you can visually see on the clapper. On the other side, they're pretty much all gone. I mean, I haven't really seen any on this side right there, and this is the side that is typically taking a lot of the force whenever it's being cut. We're cutting this way a lot of times, so it's pushing it that way. So I think most of the force is on that side of the clapper right there. But the same thing, there was a few little dings, minor dings on this corner right here. So just lightly rub it just to remove any high spots and try to make it uniform there. Now I have not done that in here yet, but this clapper fits pretty good, okay? Now, we do have a little bit of clearance in this thing, and that can very well be, you know, an issue with precision whenever you're using the shaper, and it fits right about there. It kind of like fell right into place. So I don't know if you can see it on video. You see it pivoting up here, and you got a little bit. So on this back end down here, the highest that I have measured, you got about 5 thousandths clearance on the back end up here. On the top end where the pin is, you've got some places that are original. 4 inches is what this was measured at nominally, and you can get right up in here and measure a couple places and it's still right at 4 inches. But you've got some stretching above it and below it right there. So I'm not really sure what the proper repair would be if one was to go ahead and try to fit this back to originality. Now you could very well re-scrape this right here and get it perfectly square again, you know, and bring it down in size. But then you've got to deal with your clapper box here on how do you bring this back to size to meet that, you know. This is not something that I would want to personally weld up and recut. I actually think it would be a component that you would want to remake, just rebuild it altogether. Now, I'm not looking to do that. I want to just use this thing and go with it because I want to get my machine back together, and I think it's going to continue to work fine for what I'm wanting to do with it, okay? But we're just trying to cover all of our bases here, and I'm showing you what I'm discovering as I'm going through these components right here. Now I want to show you something else. This right here is my Starrett 599. This is I think it's usually considered a planer gauge, but it's a planer and shaper gauge is what it is. And these have multi-uses, it's not just for a shaper or a planer. And they come with 2 of these rods that screw in there, and these guys are precision lapped on both faces so that they're perfectly parallel. And you can utilize a planer gauge like this like you would an adjustable parallel. So you can also screw these into the end like this, and this is perfectly square. They're made that way, so you could actually stand it up on its end like that and adjust this up to get another measurement right there. So you can use it to measure this way or the other way, and that's the way I'm going to show you today. I thought that this was a fitting tool to show you how to take a measurement on the inside of something like this right here. This is what I was using it for. So you can take this thing and spread it out. All right, get a little bit of squeeze on it. so that you know you're touching on both sides. Get in there and lock the set screw there and slide it out. Then we got some dings there on the corner that I'm hitting. Okay, so all right, it's tight there, so it's getting bigger. Let's just do it back here. All right, so that is our measurement of where we just put that in there. So you can just take a mic. This is my 4 to 5 inch sterret, and you can just mic over this. Just rock it to try to get it squared up on the anvils. All right, and that particular spot is 3/1000 over 4 inches. Okay, so that's one way that you can use a planer gauge like this, planer and shaper gauge. You can get in there and you can take measurements on inside parallel surfaces like that. Something that's a little bit harder to get in there and measure accurately with an inside mic or something like that. You can definitely use something like this. So that's just one use of a planer and shaper gauge. So this is what I used to go in there and actually measure this in several different places to find out that this is a little bit big on this bottom end right there. Okay, so from here what I'm going to do is go ahead and just get this. I want to get her cleaned up real good and deburred and make it look real nice, and then after we do that, we are going to check our fit on the tapered pin. So this is the pin that goes through here. Let me move my tool so I don't bang it around. This is the tapered pin, and there is a groove here that lines up with the groove in the tapered pin. I didn't realize that until I was, cleaning all the parts. So that is going to get tightened up right there, and this, whenever I go to tighten this up, may help draw this closed just enough so that it kind of takes up a little bit of that slack in there. All right, but we're going to do that later. I want to see about checking this fit. It feels good, it looks good, but there's probably going to be a little bit of wear in there. This area right there looks like it may have a little bit of fretting. I'm not sure, but we'll see if we can check this and see if we can improve this in any way. Okay. So I finally unburied my old lapping plate. This has been over on top of my welding cabinet for ever since I set the shop up. So it's been at least 5 years it's been over there. I don't remember if I've ever shown this or not, but watching a lot of Tom Lipton's videos here lately on lapping, and then getting into some of the stuff of my own here where I'm wanting to like just kind of polish parts up, you know, and sand them flat on some sheet sandpaper, prompted me to go ahead and get this thing out and actually have it to where I can use it, because that's the reason why I never use it. It's because there's always a bunch of stuff sitting on top of it. So I got this area cleaned off. I thought this would be a good spot for it for now. And I have no idea who the make of this lapping plate is. I can't find any kind of hallmark or maker's mark on it. It's just, it's all casted, and then the top of it's been machined with the grid pattern like most all lapping plates, but the edge is very rough cast in. So I don't know, it's like whoever made them, like maybe they made a bunch of them, because there's like little sections there in the middle where the iron got poured. But it's an odd size. It's 18.5 inches approximately by 26.25 inches long. A pretty good size lapping plate. So as you can see, I've got a piece of sandpaper laid down right here. This is some 220, and then I've also got some other grits. This is one I had up there earlier I was just playing around with, and I can put this one over there as well, and I'll probably tape it down and have a couple grits. So this is the first part that I've been playing with, the clapper, just trying to get a nice finish back on the face of that thing right there. I'm not doing the sides because I don't want to take any more metal off those sides. All I did with the sides was stone them and then hit them with some Scotch-Brite. But this face, I'm just trying to pretty it up. Okay. The other plate, there's a grabber plate that sits right here. This guy right here, this is what bolts to that. So I'll clean all this up, wire brush it, try to get all the gunk out of the tread there. But that's what goes right there. So I'm just trying to make things look good, you know. So this will help me out with some other things. Here we have the gib for the tool slide, you know, and I'll bring it over here. It's got some dings there on the end where it's been hit on. So I need to dress those off with a file. And then I'll come over here to to my lapping plate and be able to make sure that thing is nice and smooth. There's no burrs or scratches sticking up in the sliding surfaced area, and whatever else. So it's nice to be able to finally get this thing and have it where I can use it again. So I'm going to be busy today. It's kind of a casual day for me. I'm doing some barbecue for both the families today, and in between that I'm wanting to come out here and work on the clapper box. So I've got this is the clapper. I got the clapper box over there that I'm going to start doing the filing on. But I was going to show you, see, I sanded the bottom of this a little bit, or kind of flat sanded it here on the lapping plate, and this looks pretty good. We got good contact between all those flat surfaces right there, and just trying to pretty that up right there as well. Here is the clapper box, and I'm giving you a good shot of the side there. This is the area where it was hit with a hammer a lot of times, and the reason why this was hit is people that's operated this over the years, whenever you go to rock this clapper box from side to side, I'm sure that what they would do is they would loosen the nut right here and take a hammer and just hit it to move it to the other side. So the other side's even worse. It's just as well, it's just as bad as that. So you got a lot of mushrooming here on the edge, and I'm sure that there's going to be mushrooming on this back side, and this should be a completely flat side over here that pulls up against the tool slide. So what I'm doing today is taking my time, and I'm going to use some old school hand filing to get this in. I've got some brand new files that I finally just pulled out of my cabinet, and even some brand new file handles right there. This is a Nicholson. This is a half-round bastard, so I'm probably not going to use this very much if I need it, but I got this one too. This is a Magic Cut Nicholson, brand new, with a brand new handle right there. So we're going to give these a try. And what I'm going to do is just try to, where all these beat up areas are, we're going to put radiuses there. And I could quickly do that with a grinder, but I want to try the hand file method and see what I can do with it. All right. See that bright spot? It's rolled over right there too. Here again is the real hammered face area, and it's pretty well mushroomed over onto this face here, and on the other side as well. It's really rolled up, so I just wanted to get it in a better position, and we're going to try to radius this down. I'm trying to take as little as possible, but I'm also trying to make the edges look more uniform, you know, so that's why I'm filing these radiuses on there. And all the little ding marks, we're just going to leave them in there. That'll just be part of the tail of the machine, you know. You see how much it was sticking up. All right, well, my intent here is not to bore you to tears, but I did want to get about half of it filed, and then I'll work on the other half, just kind of, you know, get half of it and compare the other side. Now I'll probably have to go back and do some more of this, just, you know, file this side in and try to make everything even, you know, just like the you know, the flat plane right here. Once I get this side, then I'll run that file across it and try to make both of these even right there. But you can kind of see what I'm working towards there. Soften up all of the corners into a radius, and just using our old school hand filing methods. Got some good files, and they're cutting it real good. And then once we get all the filing done, then we'll work on the back over here on the lapping plate, and see about getting this sanded and lapped in nice and flat there. So I'm going to go back to my hand filing, and Start this side right there. You can see just how bad it is right there. It's about the worst spot where it kept getting hit. And then right there on this corner as well. All right here. Okay. I think I just got all of the hand filing finished up. I did a little bit of wire brushing on the sides there with my air grinder and a little wire wheel, just to try to get rid of any of the rust and stuff that down in those divots there. And then from there we'll Scotch-Brite it. So I've got all of the corners filed. Now I was going to point out, like right here, there was a little piece of hard material where that little divot is. I had to get my air grinder with a carbide burr and touch that, and it finally pulled that hard piece of metal out of there. And it kind of aggravated me because those were brand new files. I was taking my file and cleaning this, and I felt it hit it, and man, that thing was harder than the file, because I could see the cutting edges of the file were just wiped out where I rubbed over that. So luckily it was just that one side that it did that. So I had to get that out of there. Now I didn't do a whole lot of filing here, because where that clapper sits down in this thing, you know, you're talking 70 years of use of all these flat spots here pushing on this area. So it's got it pushed in just a bit. And I don't want to change that depth there, because that's going to change the center height of the hole right there. So we're just going to leave that like it is. Alright, I'm going to leave it just like that, besides the rest of our cleaning up that we're going to do. And I believe what I'll do is, once I finish getting this thing cleaned up the way I want, I've got a tapered reamer, and we're going to run our tapered reamer through all three pieces and try to make sure that our tapered hole through here is nice and uniform for the pin, and we'll address the pin as well. I think we'll start with the back here, because I want to see how flat this is. And I'm suspecting that this area here and here is still going to be raised up a bit. So let's see. Let's lay it over. We're going to start with this 220 right here. Yep, and it looks like that's where it's hitting the most, is here. Looks like it's hitting pretty uniform across this arc right here, and it is touching in the back. So maybe not as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. I think I'm going to keep working it with this 220 and see if we can get it flattened down. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and rub it a little bit more. Trying to keep even pressure in the center of it so that I'm not cocking it to one side or the other. That's my attempt anyway. That's looking pretty flat. There's an area right through here. I believe those are file marks, maybe where I had rubbed it with a file. So there's some a few scratches a little bit deeper than what I can sand out right there. And I think I'll slick it up over here on the 600 now. I done messed up. There must be a chip in there. sucker at. Making sure there's no burrs sticking up, because I done scratched it. There was something underneath that sandpaper, a chip probably, and it put a scratch in the back of that. Done got me mad. There was no marks in that, and now there's a little scratch in it. Alright, it's working now. Alright, so there's the results of some of our sanding on the back of the clapper box there. It's really smooth, and it looks like it's pretty flat. Alright, so that's all I'm going to sand on that side for now, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting the rest of her cleaned up. Get her all Scotch-Brighted in. Alright buddy, the drill did great. We pushed it right on through that ductile iron with a 5/8 pilot hole to clear the chisel edge. And I used the grind that came on the drill whenever it was shipped to me, and it did good. So there's some of the chips. That's chips per side right there. And I will say it takes a little muscle to push it through there, but it was great to finally put it to use.